welcome to my channel, The Orchid Hut. My name is Dana, and I thank you for taking some of your time today to watch one of my videos. This one is going to be a bit of a ramble. It's going to be an update on some of the previous orchids that we've seen in videos the last 2 weeks to about a month ago. I have 4 updates that I want to talk about today. And as we move through the video, I will be inserting some still photos as well as some video snippets of other places where I have orchids growing. And each time that these orchids were in a video previously, I will put that link in the upper right-hand corner of the screen in case you want to go watch that video first, because then you can kind of see the change from 2 weeks ago or a month ago. Okay, so the first orchid that I want to show you is the one that I did the tea soak on a few weeks ago. And if you go back and watch that video, this orchid was severely dehydrated, had very floppy leaves, and we did a 4-day tea soak on it, and then I repotted it just as usual. And it's doing really, really well. I'm pleased with the fact that it's able to maintain hydration. When I look inside the pot, I can see that the roots are turning green, which is good. And in that tea soak video, the roots had kind of a strange gray spotting on them. And as best I can tell looking through this media, you know, that gray spotting situation doesn't seem to be getting any worse. So that's a good sign. The roots on top of the media look really nice and green. And I just am watching the moisture in this one just a little bit extra carefully. I did pot it in fresh media, and sometimes new media doesn't hold moisture as easily as when it gets a little bit older in the pot. So I am watering it just a bit more frequently because I don't want that new media to dry out and cause this orchid to go backwards and get dehydrated again. But it's doing really, really well, and I'm happy with the results of the tea soak and the new potting situation for it. Okay, so that's number 1. And the second update is going to be about my really large white Phalaenopsis. This was the first spike for me this season, and in some previous videos I was demonstrating first of all how to recognize that it was a spike and not a root, and then how to stake it in case you wanted to make sure that the bloom was upright and not just draping over the edge of the plant or the pot. So what you see now in my bay window is kind of an elevated situation here. I don't have the orchid inside its normal pot. I inverted another pot so that I could set the plastic pot on top of that, and that's giving it a little bit more height while I'm training the spike towards the light. And I've been turning the pot about a quarter turn every day. Right now I want the spike to grow straight so that it's kind of going in the same direction as the stake. And then once it gets a little bit more height, I will be able to clip it to the stake and then direct it towards the light so that it arches over in the direction that I want it to. So once the spike gets a couple of more inches tall right here, I will clip it to the stake and then train it to arch over the side and towards the window. Okay, the third update is going to be about my Dendrobium winter resting orchids. The first one is my Dendrobium Little Sweet Scent. It's also called Nestor. And it is noticeably doing its winter thing. The leaves are turning much more yellow. Some of the leaves have just completely yellowed and have fallen off. I have been leaving it outside even when the temperatures have gotten, a little bit below 50 degrees Fahrenheit. It is no longer getting any fertilizer, and that's been the case for about a month now. About 2 weeks ago, I did give it a trickle of water on a very bright, warm, sunny day, but the canes are not noticeably shriveling yet. So also I've been misting it maybe like once a week on another bright, warm, sunny day when it has a chance to dry before nightfall. So I'm just being really, really careful with the watering and just letting it have its cool nighttime temperatures. And I have moved it to a place along the side of the house where it gets a few hours of direct morning sun as well as pretty bright daylight the rest of the day. And I would say that it has increased daylight right now compared to where I had it in the summer. And that's really what you want to try to do, because these orchids grow in deciduous forest, and by this time of the year those trees have lost their leaves, so winter sun is a bit brighter than what these orchids would have if they were growing in the wild. And then my second winter resting Dendrobium is a white variety of anosmum, and it has had a few leaves yellow and fall off, but it's not as noticeable as the little sweet scent Dendrobium. So, it's being treated the same way though, staying outside, hasn't had fertilizer for about a month, just gets a trickle of water, and is also getting more bright light now in the winter. So I'm just kind of watching these, and hopefully when spring rolls around we'll be able to see some bloom buds along the canes. And then the final update is about my grow lights. So a few days ago I posted a video about my situation with my outdoor orchids being in and having to get shelving units and lights. Well, my tripod light has arrived, and I have it just kind of roughly set up until I have a chance to rearrange everything and take the orchids back off the shelves and get the lights underneath the shelves. So I just have the tripod light set up in there for the moment. I was going to give you the name of it, but now that I've thrown the packaging away, there's no indication of the name on this light that I can see, not even on the instruction manual. The first part of the instruction manual is written in German, so I'm assuming it's a German-made light. And the English instructions are a little bit difficult to follow. What I've gotten out of it so far is that there are 3 different light settings. One is a white light, one is a warm light, and then the third setting is the white light mixed in with a little bit of extra red, and that's supposed to promote growth and blooming. So that's how I have it set right now. You can adjust the intensity of the light from low to high, and I just have it on high for the moment. And then it also has a timer feature, so if you turn it on in the morning, you can set it to go off in 4 hours, 8 hours, or 12 hours. So that's kind of a nice feature if you don't want to have to remember to go turn it off in the evening. So, the jury is still out. I don't really have any opinions about how well the light does for growing orchids, because I've only had it on now for about 3 days. But I'm, just kind of watching it carefully that I don't have it too close to the leaves or anything like that. But so far so good, and when I get the other lights under the shelves, I'll be sure to give an update of what that looks like once everything is rearranged in the room. Okay, so that's the end of the video for today. If you enjoyed watching, please give my video a thumbs up, and the subscribe button will be coming up in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram if you would like to follow along there. And thank you so much for watching. Talk to you next time.